Part of the things that will help in nurturing your mindset is to, have a thinking place.
A thinking place, like
That's part of
a
the
zone.
That's part of the thing that helps to nurture your mind.
So you must consciously set aside a
Exactly.
space for
Well,
thinking.
maybe your own private space or your special spot, like some people say,
Yeah.
where I can't be disturbed. Because part of the things that you will realize that we don't do often is that we don't think.
We don't think at all.
Are you even taking it further?
It's a society we don't like to think.
And it's when you're in the process of thinking, maybe in a quiet, relaxed atmosphere, that's when ideas, that's when concepts, that's when things start dropping in. And you begin to say, oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, how did I miss that? Because you have settled down, you're in a relaxed state, and your mind is also functioning at the highest level. So it's something that for anybody who wants to develop his mental capacity, you need to have a time for thinking or a thinking place. It's part of the reprogramming of your mind that you have to put into place if you want your mind to be stronger. Because we are talking about the mindset. Essentially, if you're going to have a champion's mindset as a businessman or entrepreneur, then your mind must be stronger.
Yeah.
So the way you nurture your body, you got to nurture your mind too.
And one of the best ways is for you to have your thinking space, your
Exactly.
thinking spot,
Exactly.
where you will not have distractions.
Exactly.
And where there will be some level of environmental alignment
Exactly.
with your mind.
Exactly.
What are the instruments that you can use to bring that up?
Well, for me, I always tell people, find out what works best for you.
Find what works best for you.
Because you see, for somebody who's looking for the moon or somebody who stays in the dark, maybe that's his natural terrain. That's his preference. Everybody has preference in terms of what works for you. Like, some people are early birds, some people are late risers, some people function best at a particular time. So for me, I wouldn't advocate that. You need to follow someone's, method. You know yourself.
Explore.
You know exactly.
Until you discover what works best for you.
Exactly. You know how you function and how you function at your highest level. Once you find your sweet spot, like they call it, it will be easy. Every other thing will just flow.
What is the place of brainstorming?
Oh, quite interesting question you've
And like
asked.
Dr. Habib would tell me, Habib Olamitoye, he said, thinking is the first job of an entrepreneur. So there must be mind storming, which is you thinking.
Thinking through, looking at the possibilities.
Brainstorming. All of what we have been talking about up till now is mind storming.
Yeah,
Everything we've been talking about prior to
That's
this
true.
moment is
That's
mind storming.
that's true.
And that's the first job of an entrepreneur. Thinking is the first job of an entrepreneur.
That's true.
What is the place of brainstorming to mental nurturing?
I think it does help a lot.
Okay.
Because apart from the fact that it helps your mind to function or your brain to function at the highest capacity, it's been discovered that we live in a right-dominated kind of world. Right side brain.
The right hemisphere.
Exactly.
Of the brain.
Because that deals more with logic, reasoning, what is rational. But the left-hand side of the brain deals more with creativity,
Emotions.
pictures. And most of the time, the kind of questions you ask will determine how that sets into place. If you ask questions like why, how, is there another way, you are going to be
Your
setting up
creativity is
exactly.
activated.
And that is key or crucial to an entrepreneur. So for an entrepreneur or a businessman, I believe very strongly that the issue of creative thinking, which will come into place as you brainstorm in terms of the options that's available to you, will come into place. So even if you are in the place of brainstorming, you need to ask the right kind of questions so that you can see the right kind of options or answers or solutions to the things you want to bring, into being your business.
And brainstorming is about group thinking.
Yeah. And I think I also need to mention the people that you bring on board also matters. Because if you bring on board people who are like, in terms of their mindset, they are negative people. They are going to polarize whatever you're trying to achieve there. So it's important to have people of like minds, people
So
who
every
are
single person that will be on your team
Exactly.
to brainstorm must be people of like mind.
when I say like mind, that means they are positive in terms of their outlook.
Yeah.
Of course, that does not mean that they agree with you on all things. Of course, they see other side or other angles.
In fact, the more they disagree, the better for the brainstorming session, because that's going to activate the
The
creative
better,
process.
because maybe by the time you are providing solutions to maybe the way out, the other person may see a better option, or there could be issues about what if this happens. So it all helps in arriving
and
at.
that helps you to identify gaps that need to be corrected before you set out.
I can't remember who said this once, that it's important that maybe one has a brainstorming session. I think it's probably once a week or so. If you're in maybe whatever kind of business or organization, you just come around people, share ideas, look at the way forward, explore the options, and come out with viable solutions.
Wow. So, as an entrepreneur or as a business owner, you're not helping yourself if you are the king of the manor. Because what we
Definitely
have
you'll be limited as to what you can see.
everybody is limited by you. Because what we have these days, largely in our climb here, is everybody looks up to the boss. And nobody wants to disagree with the boss. Nobody wants to have a conflicting opinion from that which is held by the boss.
That's true.
So when you are invited to a brainstorming session, people look at the body language of the chief executive and just align and just advise along that line.
Follow suit.
Seem to be advising business people now that that's not the way to go.
I will say, if you look at the leading businesses today in the world, somebody once said this story about Bill Gates while he was still at Microsoft. He's no longer there in terms of working there.
As an executive,
on board.
yeah.
Exactly that. There's a time, there's a rule that if any staff brings about an idea, there's a place they're allowed to share their idea. And everybody's like encouraged to just go ahead and unburden it. Nobody is repressed. Nobody is, harassed because of that. And I think if you look at the leading businesses today in the world, the ones that are doing very, very well, you see that they are maximizing the creative, intuitions of the
people in their establishment.
In the establishment.
If I didn't want to interject when you were talking about Bill Gates' style, Microsoft style, because it seems as if that's what Larry Page and Zuckerberg, that's what they are practicing in their
that's
organization.
what they are doing now.
Because I've read their books as well.
Amazon and all the
They
rest
just
of them.
allow you to ventilate your ideas.
They do.
And there's a rule in many of these organizations, which is that there's no stupid idea. Bring it on.
Definitely not.